Did this mean she didn't feel safe? It might have been a pre-planned thing. Maybe she told her friends beforehand to show up at whatever time to give her a way to get out if she didn't feel safe. I'd say it's a good sign that she came back, but there's really no way to know for sure. It wasn't random, but it also wasn't you. It was probably a prearranged escape plan in case the date wasn't going well. The fact that she came back and stayed longer is good for you. It sounds like you're overthinking it. Honestly, if she truly didn't feel safe and was calling her friends for her, she likely wouldn't have sat back down and continued the date. Usually, the thing is to fake an emergency or event so they have to leave the date. And if it was a setup, her friends were likely just checking in and seeing that everything was okay. If she called her friends to rescue her, she would have left with them. My 2 cents. Her friends may have shown up because of what the ex was like. That was a rescue team to make sure she was safe. When a woman mentions an ex on a date, she may be easing you into her breakup story, which, like it or not, informs how she goes about connecting with you, especially in the beginning. So when a woman brings up her ex, don't immediately think, oh, she's not over him. Let her talk. She may share the things that scare her more than anything else in the world, and she's praying you're the anti-ex. Maybe she'll tell you the secrets to her heart. He never X, Y, Z. Take note, that's important to her, etc. Take the last 45 minutes as a decent sign to shoot your next shot. Sounds that if she's had some anxiety or a bad experience in her past, her friends have been giving her some courage points by promising to check in on her during a first date. Don't worry, they are on your side as well. They are being supportive. If she wasn't safe with you, she'd have gone at once. Eventually she'll be able to share the reason why. It may not have been that you made her feel unsafe. Sometimes, though, when women just aren't feeling it, they are scared to just say that outright, because a lot of men do not take rejection well. A lot of women have tried to reject a man politely, or say they aren't interested in a second date just to be met with aggression, threats, or potential violence. Maybe she just wasn't feeling it and had a safety plan due to those kind of past experiences. Maybe she was feeling it, but since you never know, she had a check-in planned just to make sure people knew where she was and if things were okay. Also, maybe her friends are nosy. They could have known where the date was and wanted to scope it out. She may have agreed to it, or maybe it was a surprise. Regardless, I want to thank you for considering how you could make her feel safe and comfortable and have control over her environment. A lot of men have no regard for that and do not treat dates well. And a lot of men just don't consider that this stuff is a concern for women because it doesn't happen to them personally. Personally, I think you are so much more likely to make genuine connections being this considerate, and that it will be appreciated. Taking your comments into consideration, I really think it just wasn't working for her. And that's fine. That doesn't mean you did something wrong. Sometimes there just aren't romantic feelings there. Better she told you it wouldn't work out than leading you on. Being a woman, I totally agree with everyone else saying her friends were a rescue team in case anything went wrong. That also likely has nothing to do with you. It's become a lot more common, and was probably just to help her feel safer, escape if she needed to. I wasn't there, so I can't say for sure, but it sounds like a random coincidence that they showed up as she was talking about her ex. Maybe she told her friends you guys would be there. Maybe she didn't. If you guys agreed to a second date, then you're fine. Don't overthink it. I read one time, there are a million things she could be thinking about. Why would it be negative things about you? Quote, if she didn't feel safe, she would have left with the friends. So whether it was pre-planned or not is a moot point, really. That was her emergency bailout. Most important away is that she didn't bail out so you passed. Also, there are a lot of creepy guys out there that seem like good guys on the surface. She didn't know you well enough to know if you are one of them, so don't overthink it. She was testing safety. Her last boyfriend wasn't a very nice person and she wanted to know if you knew him because he'd be back in her life if you were close. It likely isn't that she still likes him. It's most likely that she's scared to meet another guy like him. She wasn't sure she's ready to date because it left scars, and if you're also an abuser, she'd get hurt and start from zero all over again. She doesn't know you, so she's making it known to you that she's not going to rush in with you. The friends thing may have been pre-arranged. If she came back, she's willing to stick it out. I really think you're overthinking. Chill. 1. I often run into friends when going on dates. Especially if the date is in a popular place. It can happen too. It seems that you think too much about her and the date. Slow down. This attitude has more chances to ruin everything than anything else. 3. If you can't stop thinking, ask her. You're two adults. Sounds pre-planned. A friend checkup in case the date is going badly. However, she came back to you and spent another 45 minutes with you. I know I wouldn't do that if I felt unsafe. It's possible it was actually random. Long ago after I got divorced, I was set up on a blind date by a coworker. We went to a restaurant and while we were talking, I recognized a voice behind me. Turned out my mom and sister were seated right behind us. Tears of joy. It was totally not planned, but I know he thought otherwise. Lol. Sometimes girls do this as a pre-planned thing so that they have support if they feel unsafe, and they have an excuse if they're just not feeling it and can simply leave the date early. It sounds more like she went over to her friends to reassure them she was fine and enjoying herself. And then she returned to spend more time with you because she was fine and enjoying herself. If she had truly felt unsafe or wanted to leave, then she had a good excuse right there and could have just left with her friends. Instead, she chose to spend another 45 minutes with you. I'd say that's a good sign. She came back for another 45 minutes. This is not a you problem. Stop overthink this. Ask her. Look, I don't mean this in the wrong way, but I think men need to stop with the woe is me attitude when it comes to women making preemptive escape plans and safety arrangements. Yes, you're probably a good guy. Do we know for sure? No. Do we know what happens to us when we take no cautions and trust a complete stranger? Oh, you bet. My question to you is, why do you not feel the need to make these plans and these arrangements for your safety? If the answer is you don't need to, maybe you're just not understanding the genuine fear that comes with meeting new men for the first time. You may need to discuss this more with your female friends.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.